What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mr. Straight Facts Show. I am Mr. Straight Facts. Let's get in it today. Some craziness. It was Donald Trump talking about these tariffs. Now, I think this might have been yesterday's press conference, but I'm covering it today. I didn't see it live. I just got the video and I was watching it and Trump's an idiot, y'all. Trump's an idiot. It's just apparent, and it's so crazy that it's like you're living in a weird upside down world that you literally have to take like the dude on the street, the one that's kind of like, tripping out on whatever kind of substance there is. That's Donald Trump, and you got to take him seriously. You know what I mean? You got to take this addict seriously, and this man has the nuclear codes, and he's like that dude that's just on the street talking to himself, and then incorporates the nearest person every once in a while. Do you see him too? I'm like, nah, I don't see him. I ain't got nothing to do with him. There's nobody there. You've got to take that dude serious, and that dude is the president of the United States. I'm gonna get into it real quick and show you, a video from what happened earlier. I think it was yesterday, I believe, but the presser that he had, and it was talking about the tariffs, right? Because today, it might have been earlier today, because today was the day that these tariffs are supposed to go into effect, July 9th. July 9th was the day. What's up, Mark D? How you doing? I see you know him, Dom. Pamela Evans. Today was the day, but this is what we had to deal with. Just bear with me.
August 1st, you said is the deadline. What incentives do countries have to negotiate? It seems that deadline keeps moving. It was April 2nd, now it's...
We didn't move, no. It's always been August 1st, that's what we're paying.
It's never been August 1st. This man literally filled out another executive order and made it August 1st. When it was July 9th prior to. I mean, gaslighting is Trump and MAGA's love language. I mean, that's what gaslighting is, love for them. It's just insane that you literally in front and these reporters. I mean, seriously, when he gaslights like that, you literally have to say, well, no, sir, you had a previous one where it was July 9th. And previously before that, it was like April something. It's been postponed like 3 times. For you to say that this has always been August 1st, I mean, come on. Come on. It won't be here in July of 2026. And this dude is like, it's always been July 26. And listen to what he says. He admits that he lied, but he just gives it a different term. He said, I did not have it. I did not change it to August 1st. Always been August 1st. Let's continue.
A statement was being put out today, and I put it out just to make it clear. It wasn't a change. It was August 1st. We don't change very much. Every time we put out a statement, they say he made a change. I didn't make a change. A clarification, maybe.
Clarification, maybe. A clarification, right? I'm clarifying that it's August 1st. When you clarify before it was July 9th, that was your clarification. He's trying to say it's not a change. It was clarification. Why do you need to clarify a different date? Oh, you didn't hear it before. Like when I told you July 9th, in my brain, I said August 1st. So I had to clarify, not to you, because I know you heard January or July 9th, but in my brain, I said August 1st. So I had to clarify with my inner thoughts, because my inner thoughts said August 1st, but my mouth shot out July 9th. So that was just a clarification, because my brain said something different than my lips and my vocal cords pushed out. Oh, and I did write it down on another document, but I'm clarifying now that there won't be no more changes. I mean, there won't be no changes because there never was. There was just a bunch of clarifications of all the bullshit in my head. Is that clear? That's what this fool just said. Wow. And this, like I said at the very beginning, Donald Trump, and no disrespect to those who have had problems with substances, but Donald Trump is like that person on the street that has either walked up to you or just said something outrageously crazy, and you had to justify that shit and say that it was real. Donald Trump is the equivalent of that person on the street saying something like, do you see that turkey? I'm like, dude, we are in the middle of the street. Ain't no turkeys, ain't no farm. There's a turkey, gobble, gobble. I'm like, nah, ain't no. All right, okay, nice turkey. That's what they're doing to this dude. There's no gobble, gobble. There's no turkey. It's all in his head, and they're acting like, yeah, he's the president of the United States. Wow. He literally said July 9th, had it written down July 9th. What do you think they pulled July 9th? Out the crack of their ass? Is that what they came up with it before? 90 days, 90 deals. July 9th is the 90th day. And your guys said it. You said it. It came out of all you guys' mouths. We can count. Because August 1st is not the 90th day. Just crazy, y'all. Just crazy. Need his meds or something. Something's up.
No, August 1st they pay. And everybody pays. Everybody has to pay. And the incentive is that they have the right to deal in the United States. If they don't want to, they don't have to pay and they don't have to deal here. But if they want to buy and make a lot of money and sell in the United States, they have to do that.
If they want to buy and sell, they have to do that. This is coming from a dude that still thinks tariffs is something that the other country's paying for our products that we buy from them. All right. So this man continues down this path of the tariffs in this same conversation. And I just want you to catch something else that this man says that says, I know shit about tariffs. I'm just making this shit up. I want more money for our country. And when I see more money pile up, it doesn't matter who it comes from. If it's the American people I'm robbing or the other country I'm robbing, I think tariffs rob the other country. But if it doesn't, so what? I see more money coming in. I can buy stuff with that. No, you can't. Well, it's my money. No, sir, it's not. Well, I see it. I get to see it pile up. And I'm helping Americans. No, you're not. You're stealing from Americans because the country ain't paying for it. We're paying for it. And you still can't get this fool at 79, whatever the fuck he is, to understand that he's robbing his own citizens and telling them, look how much money we're getting. No, how much money they're losing. How much the government is getting bigger and bigger and fatter with our money. Which you just said, okay, we're pulling in more money, but you ain't talking about paying off the debt or down the deficit. You actually just blew that the fuck up with this new bill. So you're going to pull in more of our money and spend it on shit like a whole new, like what, 170 billion or something like that for ICE? Where you going to put these fools at? Your alligator alley flooded. Didn't have a running toilet. You think they got one now? I mean, it's just, boy, slow, just pure. It's special ed running the country. And I mean, he like special. I mean, regular special ed, which people said they didn't belong in, but was in it and actually succeeded. That's like Damon Wayans. That's like Mike Epps and all that. But this fool was like the dude that was in there with a helmet and a chin strap and was just slobbering. That's him running the country. That's him. That dude that couldn't spell his name, just that says Donald Trump because he can't read or write. He just makes shit up. This entire thing is ridiculous. this is the same man, when you see this next clip, just says, we'll talk about it. Let's go.
And you know, I call those other countries to say, and every one of them is willing to give us everything now, by the way, just so you know. Sir, we'll charge you no tariffs, nothing. We'll give you everything.
Every country has told him they don't want to give us no tariffs. Isn't this the same statement where he said they was kissing his ass before? He just left the kissing his ass part out. By the way, they're coming after me. They love me. They want us. Oh my God, they want to work with us. They want to work with me. No, they don't. How is it that you had a 90-day situation where you're going to have all these deals and people just going to come running after you, and you have to write a Chuck Schumer letter? I wrote them a stern letter telling them, I'm tough. Here, read it. One of them, he got the wrong sex. The president of one country is a woman. This fool said Mr. whatever her last name is. I mean, these were not personal letters, obviously. But, and you didn't know who the hell was running that country, obviously. Then he had another country where black leadership, I think that was today. I just saw a clip of it. And he's talking to the black man. I think it's Liberia is where he's from. And Liberia's country language is English. And Donald Trump's like, where did you learn English? Where did you learn it from? You sound so good. You sound better than some of the people I work with, because I'm a fucking idiot. I can't spell, but where did you learn it from? Since when do black people speak better than me? And he was just gracious, just bowing his head like he didn't understand English. He didn't want to answer this idiot because, I mean, if he was part of his own country and he's talking to somebody more like subordinate him, like, get the fuck out of my face. The fuck you talking about? I speak English like you do, idiot. Been doing it forever. Go look up Liberia. It's been speaking English for fuck ever. Okay? It was a country that you sent the slaves to who were going to be freed. Not him, but America sent it to them so they could be free, because that's what Lincoln wanted to do. Send us to Liberia. Wasn't until Frederick Douglass said, ixnay on the Liberia, A. We're going to stay here in the USA. And that's when we were freed here. But many of them were given an option to go to Liberia. And they left this country altogether. That's where they went. And they speak English. This man is leading the country. I don't expect everybody to know this. Right? But I do expect the people who chose to run our fucking country and to speak to others of, he was in a leadership meeting, and the first thing he lets them know is, I don't know shit about you. I've done no information, no research, no Nathan. All I know, you black, I'm dumb, and we're talking at a table. That's it. Cameras are there. What else? That's the leader of our country. Uncouth, complete idiot, unrehearsed, not don't know anything about anything. If he don't know where this man's language is English, he doesn't know what this country is here for. Then again, be like, excuse me, sir. Why are you here? You invited me, you dipshit, you orange turd. Why do you think I'm here? I mean, that's the type of shit. He did no homework to find out that the country speaks English. Shocked. He's shocked that he verbally spoke. Where did you learn it from? You're such an educated Negro. I don't get it. You sound smarter than me. A fourth grader sounds smarter than you, you idiot. Good night. I could not believe I saw that. I thought it was a prank. And I said, why am I thinking it's a prank? That orange fuckhead is right there. But for some reason, this went off. I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, there's way. There's hella way. He's that stupid. But what isn't way is how the news doesn't call him out for being a dunce. Joe Biden, who is a lifelong stutterer, stuttered, and these fuckers was talking about it for weeks. Well, I don't know if he's doing well because he kind of like stuttered a little bit. Well, I know he was a stutterer, but he overcame that. But you know, as you get older, starting to stutter again. Must be kind of unwell. A lifelong stutterer learns how to not stutter, which is hard as fuck. Teaches everybody he runs into, even kids, older people, whatever, how to not stutter. Right? Stutters every once in a while as he gets older. And Donald Trump has idiot written all over him. And they ain't calling him an idiot every fucking day. Oh, he doesn't seem very well. They ran on Biden. So much so, the dude at CNN fucking made a book about it, went on a tour about Joe Biden's decline. But this fucker's declining in front of you. He never had an ascent. He's always been stupid. He's always been on decline. He's always been slow. So you should have been making fun of this fool since kindergarten. But no, they're sitting here trying to make this dude seem like he just makes a flub. No, he is a total, complete fuck up. And they know it. They know it, but won't say nothing about it. Every time this man flubs, they should be on his ass like a wild animal. Calling him like, what, sir, you seem to stutter a lot. You seem to say things that don't make any sense. See, you just said this. They should just say, are you doing well, sir? Why did you say that? Because here's a document right here that says July 9th, and you're acting like this is not something you signed. You see this ugly ass heart rate? Beep, 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 beep. Shit you right? That's it. It says July 9th or it says 90 days. Do you see the day that it was signed? Yeah, 90 days to that. That's August 1st to you. Could somebody help him? Because August 1st is not 90 days after what he just said right here. On this little piece of paper he got, 90 days is July 9th. How the fuck did you come up with August 1st? Hold his feet to the fire. Make fun of this fucker. You guys sit here like, oh, well, he's the president. You did it. Fox did it to Obama with a tan fucking suit. Called his wife a man. Had nothing to do with it. Before then, did we ever touch the wives of the president? It took racist white people to start touching the wives of presidents. Michelle Obama was the first wife attacked. It's norm now. And if you say anything by Obama's wife, the first term, everybody's, oh, well, she's a model, she's smart, no, she's not. She's illegal. She got here illegally. But it wasn't until Michelle Obama that America started having an okay moment to talk shit about the president's wife. Remember Jackie O? Everybody, oh, she's so gorgeous. She's ugly to me. But hey, you think she's gorgeous? Great. Remember, oh, Jackie O's so beautiful. She's so stylish. I mean, really, George Bush's wife, come on now. Everybody was like, is that his mother? Everybody, don't lie. You looked at George Bush, you looked at his wife. That's his mom, right? Come on. But did anybody say it? They were not, no politician, nobody was out there saying, man, why'd you marry your moms? Nobody did that shit. But this party has opened it up to do some of the most egregious things and then would clutch their pearls if you say anything about theirs.
We'll give you access to our markets. We'll give you everything. Is that a correct statement, Scott?
Yes, sir.
Howard, would you say that's a correct statement?
Exactly correct.
It's like they just don't, because they're very spoiled, because for years they ripped us off and we didn't have a president that understood it, or Secretary of Treasury or Secretary of a lot of different secretaries are involved.
See how he didn't know what he was talking about? Everybody loses a train of thought. But this man lost his train of thought. And I say he's old or feeble or nothing, but he lost his train of thought. But he continued to ramble to try and find his way back. But he told you just now that these countries, kissing his ass, offered him free trade agreements. We won't charge you a dime or nothing like that. In his mind, we won't charge you a dime. We're chasing after Trump. That's the best deal you can get, Trump, is free. Your people, our products go into their country at cost. They don't have to pay anything. So they start to buy. They buy more of our products. That's what you would want if we were if we were like the main producers of things and people needed our whatever, you know, we the mass producer of fucking mouse for computers, whatever, or computer chips, right? Mass producer, they need them. You want it to be zero tariff, so they buy a shit ton, as opposed to them having to pay so many tariffs and only can buy a few of them. Then we got to find other countries to push our products off on. But if we put no tariffs on and we charge the prices, boom, we get what we want and we good. That's what Republicans always wanted, free trade. Now all of a sudden you get the offer of free trade and you turn that shit down. It was like, no, we don't want that. Then what the fuck do you want, bro? I don't understand it. They said they'll bring it down to zero. Hell, most of these countries he's fucking with, it was already at zero. He's the one who pushed it up to 10 and they reciprocated. But it's like, we had a zero trade with y'all, dude. It's like, it was zero on both sides. He's just mad that they wouldn't take certain products. Certain countries don't even eat beef or meat that much, yo. There are certain Asian countries that eat mostly fat and fish. So they're trying to force them to buy beef. It's like, we don't eat beef that much. We don't even need it that much. I mean, we got our own Kobe beef. Why do we need to order your shit? Your shit is like trash compared to our beef. They're trying to force crap that other people have higher quality for into their countries. So there's like zero tariffs he didn't want. The fuck? That's the best deal. But then again, they're trying to force people to buy shit that they will never use. Let a country decide for itself, what does it use? And if that country is using, let's say, they're more of a green country, and they say we only want, you know, imports of certain vehicles, and just like anything else. I remember I was working for this energy drink company. I was like a general manager for them for a minute. And in Canada, you couldn't, the name of it was Her Energy. You may have seen it. It was a pink can, pink lemonade. It tastes good. It didn't have to give you that, you know, you didn't have the rush and then fall. You never had a fall with it. I mean, it tastes just like, it didn't have an aftertaste either. So our sales was really easy to do because I liked it. We got into, we was working on getting into Canada. This is one of them. And another one was Spain, I think it was, whatever it was. But we was trying to get into Canada. You know, Canada had us change our can like about 4 times. And then, because again, they looked at it. Oh, you got what in it? Oh, you can't have that written down in it, and it can't be in the drink. Turned us down. So he had to make a different formula for Canada because they won't allow certain things in it. They watch out for their people's health. Great thing, right? So we had to go through that. And then we ended up not getting the deal for Canada because, again, our main ingredients, it had, you know, the taurine in it or whatever, something like that they didn't like, the percentage or whatever it was. And they had to, you know, he had to redo it. And the batch didn't turn out well, so we couldn't get in because it didn't taste the same. And on top of that, the can, the proof of the can would say something like Her Energy, and it had a little slogan. Well, in the slogan, you can't say certain things in Canada on your slogan. You can't say it replenishes your spirit. Nah, no, it don't. It does not. And so they can't have that. They take that shit out. Take that off the can. Things like that. That is awesome for a country to pay attention to their own country, right? That they're people. So we couldn't do it. Donald Trump is trying to force American products into countries that don't want them and have no need for them. It's I don't understand these. Why did God allow racist white people to be in control of anything? I don't understand it. He just smited them. He should have struck them down as soon as they tried it. They should just fall off one by one. Because it's some of the most dumbest and evilest shit to do, to tell another country, eat the food we have. And they're like, okay, then you process that shit properly. Take out all the crap out of it and let us see what your meat looks like without you putting all the preservatives in it. If it's brown without the preservatives in it, then leave that shit where you left it. But if it's going to be nice and pink and stay that way without the preservatives, oh yeah, We'll take it. But no, your shit is preserved. It's trash when it gets to me. It's kind of brownish. And that's because you done put pink shit in it to make it look pink. And by the time it gets to me, it's pinkish brown. No, thank you. Take out the preservatives. Nope, that's the way we process it. Got to take it the way it is. No, that's not how these countries work. We have rules and regulations for shit that comes into our country. And we will not accept certain things. If certain things are not human grade, they're not going to buy animal corn and shit to feed humans. I mean, it's just fucking, I promise you, I hate the way this country rolls with these people leading it. It's just ridiculous. There's so much good we could be doing with good people leading this country. So much, like the statement says, with so much power, there's so much responsibility. Think of the power that we have and how responsible we could be and be real leaders all around the world and do good all around the world. I mean, I understand wars are wars and keeping safe is another thing. But the reality is that we don't have to be like evil shits on all fronts. And these people have a joy in their spirit to do evil shit. They just do. And it's like, ugh. Like Todd McNeil, it says the Germans have a purity law with their food. And exactly, they do. And so we can't force this shit on people. Why don't we just say, okay, we'll produce the meat at a quality that you like? I'm pretty sure they'd be willing to take it if they don't have a surplus in it. But if they got a huge surplus in it, that they're exporting a lot of beef because of the fact they got so much, like Kobe beef, then why? Because think about it. Their Kobe beef is cheaper and it's good. Shipping it here, we get it at a place we spending top dollar on it. Why in the hell would I get regular ass beef when I can have Kobe beef on the regular for cheap? I'm going to buy your shit? No, sir. Why? The quality isn't there, bro. Try something else. What you got? Lamb? What you got? Something else, because this shit ain't going to work. But Trump and his minions trying to force it on countries, and it's not happening. That's why these fools aren't talking to him. This dude is literally always bragging about, last time he said he was kissing his ass, 90 days. They have 2 deals that are really just 2 like conversations. They're not deals. Nothing's like written in stone how it's going to be done. And then this fool comes out and says, well, I wrote some stern letters. Some more letters are coming out. And those are deals, by the way. No, deals are something. This is why I tell you, Donald Trump was never the art of the deal. There's no such thing. This man ain't never made a deal worth a damn in his life. His dad had the name Trump and his grandfather had the name Trump. They marketed the fuck out of that, and Donald Trump just used his dad's name and fame, and he's used it his entire life. And he has destroyed it. Everybody, it took his grandfather, it took his father to build Trump name, and he is eating off of that name. And while eating off of it, if he was like his father, which he is as far as a criminal, but as far as business goes, Donald Trump would be a gazillionaire. You know how many hotels he would have if he owned them and did exactly what his dad was doing? But he was nowhere near like his dad in business savviness and being, crooked and powerful. Donald Trump is crooked. But this man knows nothing about running a business. He knows about scams. And that's what he does very, very well. He's a grifter, a scammer, a crook, a rapist. He's all those things. But he's got a group of people lifting him up, holding the foundation of this piece of orange turd that they call Trump. It's ridiculous. And it's all based on racism. All of it. Ain't nobody talking about they love Trump if they ain't a part of this racist underbelly of Trump. That white supremacy aspect. Without that white supremacy aspect, that shit crumbles. That's their go-to. What else they got to stand for? Everything that Donald Trump says falls apart. The only thing that is consistent with Donald Trump is racism. White nationalism. That's the only thing that's consistent. He let all the white nationalists out of prison from January 6th. Support y'all. Now y'all support me again. And seeing as how I'm basically the law of the land, and I got the Supreme Court in my back pocket, do what you please. I'll kick you out again. Hence, police officers and whatever these things are these pieces of shit humans that are police officers and ICE and shit walking around, MacArthur Park here in LA while little kids are having a camp. They out here acting like they're the Gestapo. It's just insane. It's insane. So he continues on this path like they kissing his ass. But you said that before, and you said they was calling you to make a deal. And now you're trying to act like, yeah, they wanted deals, but I turned them down. In fact, this fool literally says he had a deal. He has a deal with China. Where that? Where that? We ain't seen it. Where that? This fool lying his ass off. Ah, man.
But certainly Commerce Secretary was, not doing their job. I don't know about Kelly. She's small business. We'll keep it that way, okay? Her small business is bigger than almost all big businesses when you add it all up. But no, they are very respectful of our country. But the incentive is that they have the right to do business with us. Without that, they don't have the right to do business. And that would be okay, too.
So, without what? I mean, this man literally was just saying that they kissing his butt. But they can do business with me and they won't do business with me. Well, they're kissing your butt, bro. So what's about this? Don't want to not do business with you. Sounds like they want to do business with you if they're kissing your butt, and that whatever you decide to give them, they're willing to take. But that ain't the case. You had to write them a letter and say, this is what it is. And then say a letter, get this, a letter that I write to you that you've never seen and has the wrong sex for one person. Let me tell you real quick, once you receive it and read it, deal is made. You don't have to talk to me. You don't have to write me another letter back. You don't have to write me a love letter like Kim Jong-un. You don't have to do that. Our deal is made. It's cemented. You ignored me, so now here's your little punishment. This dude act like we have some kind of American gold in this bitch that other people can't make. Almost everything we got, other countries make. They can say, fuck you, America. I'm going to fucking Vietnam to get it. I'm going to fucking Japan to get it. I'm going to China, who pretty much produces everybody's shit to get it. Fuck you. We don't need you. And that's what China's basically saying. Fuck you. They ain't said no, let's kiss Donald Trump's butt crack. No. They said, ignore that orange fool. Let's go to China. China's like, let's go to Japan. Yeah, I know. We don't like them. They don't like us. Let's go to Japan, but that orange dude is fucking everything up. Let's go to Japan. Let's go to Korea. Yeah, we're gonna do it with Vietnam. We're gonna do some more shit. Let's go make some deals with them. Whatever we get from America, where else can we get it? Oh, okay. Well, our people just ain't gonna be able to have a lot of things, but we've been here for thousands of years. We're gonna be here for thousands more. So that was a quote from one of them, and I'm like, I asked a Chinese, like, I ain't say ambassador, but he was like one of his crew, the people who are one of the executives in their political field, said, we've been here for 5,000 years. We're going to be here 5,000 years more. So fuck America, basically, is what he's saying. You guys are what, 240 years? Oh, congratulations. That's like a pimple on a baby's ass for us. But that's good for you. You feel like you've done something with your 249 years. You keep on saying 50, but this is a 249 year. But that's okay. We know you're not good with numbers, but that's all right. We can move on. That's why they're not paying attention to him. These overzealous, white nationalists, idiotic men and women over there literally thought that America was so powerful that everybody was just going to fucking jump. And they said back to us, if you're feeling froggy, bitch, jump. And Donald Trump keeps on jumping in place. And they're like, get that fool. He'll come around because he's going to need this. He's going to need that. Oh, yeah. Your car ain't starting, bitch, without us. So shut it up. Oh, yeah. Right. Everything in your house, go pick it up. What does it say on it? China. Your people need us more than we need you. Do you understand the average person here has a size of like the average American's fucking closet for their house? We ain't worried. We ain't worried not one bit. Now, if we want to go to war or something like that, might be some issue, but hey, we just got to do what we got to do. We done figured out a way before. When you guys fucked us and saddled us with all your fucking shit and had us doing shit for $5 and shit and you selling it for 500, we figured out a way. Because that's what we do. We're resourceful. We're smart. It's a done deal. And we put our money where our mouth is. China invests in its people, in its education, in its technology. Their robots run circles around ours. One of their men, not a whole group of Chinese people, one of them built something better, bigger and better and faster, just about, with cheaper chips than our ChatGPT. Their DeepSeek runs just as fast as our ChatGPT, and their shit was built in a short amount of time. ChatGPT was built over years. They fixed it up, boom, done, put it out, and said, checkmate, bitch. Here's one, and it's free. You ain't gotta pay for it. Blah, set it out there just to let America know you ain't that special, bruh. Special ed maybe with this leader y'all got, but special, Everything you got, we've pretty much made. And if we made it, then that means over the years, we probably done either built it and like they get pissed off about, or stole the technology and built upon that. Because you guys don't invest in yourselves like you used. You invest in making money and buying up shit. You don't invest in your American citizens. So your American citizen powership is the power of America is really people from other countries. Everything that we build, whether it be atomic, our bombs that we build, we have other people from other countries come here. Americans aren't the ones making them. It's made in America. They're stealing people from Russia and from other countries in China. They're the ones who built like the atomic bomb. People from other countries. American citizens, for the most part, were just like a part of it, yeah. But they got education from other countries to do so. That's why people come to this country. That's why we were willing to pay for all these people with these visas, because we're bringing the smartest and the best to this country so that it makes it a strong country. And that's what we've been investing in. Well, China and all these other countries thought about it. And they started building and focusing and investing in education. And we stopped investing in education and started investing in junk shit. Shit that ain't gonna be around forever, but it can make us a lot of money really quick. And so we became a consuming country instead of producing country. You got to think about it. The producing countries are the ones that everybody needs. The consumer country needs everybody else to succeed. So if you look at it, we don't have everything we need in this country to survive. If we alienate every country and they just said, fuck America and just bought from themselves, we would be starving. We would be in hell, right? And you get Donald Trump, he's noticing a little bit. That's why he's trying to charge some of these countries in bricks. I don't know if you heard it, but what he said about bricks, he was like, he's charging them like these tariffs. It's a part of, I guess, this 14 he put out recently. But he's trying to heavily tariff all the countries in bricks because he said personally, like I've been saying this whole time, they've been trying to replace the dollar. And what Donald Trump has been doing is giving them opportunity to do so. And the more he fucks with them, the less they have to deal with America. And because he's fucking with everybody and not just them, they have a conversation to have. Donald Trump and America is tripping. They're unstable. What do you think their dollar's going to look like? At least one of the countries, if not both, are in BRICS that owns America's debt. If we pull the money from them, they'll become weak pretty fast. And if you get your shit together, we'll put our money into you. We'll take the trillion that Japan takes the trillion away from them and puts it into BRICS if you can make this work. It's too many ways for them to fuck with us, and Trump and his minions keep puffing their chest. But like they said, they call him Taco. They understand you puffing your chest. I just heard another gentleman who's into the stock world say that because of this Taco thing, they don't listen to anything he says. That's why the stock market continues to grow for the most part, because they don't think he's going to enact any of it. It's gotten to the point where he's puffed his chest so many times that they think he's crying wolf. They don't trust what he says. So they continue doing what they're doing because it's not enacted. Everything gets pushed off. He's going to do it again. So it doesn't affect it. Do you understand how crazy it is that the president of the United States' word is trash, so much so that the Americans who are rich in this country ignore him and continue doing business like he doesn't exist? They don't trust the word that comes out of his mouth. The people with the money don't trust the word that's coming out of his mouth. The news and everything like that, they're covering it and all stuff like that, and they're like, don't even listen to that, y'all. He's like, what do you mean don't listen to it? He's the president of the United States. He's blowing smoke. He ain't gonna do nothing. And the reason why they knew this, and this is kind of true. I was listening to this person, I'm like, he makes sense. But and again, it's a president. You gotta listen to the president in the sense of, if it happens, you gotta be prepared. If it doesn't, you're just happy it didn't. But if it happens, you gotta figure out something. He's like, well, if you keep on, and I think the person who was interviewing him said something to that effect. He said, if you keep on doing that, you go all over the place. But if you stay steady, more than likely he's not going to ask. He said he's not going to respond, because he said, pay attention. He said, this is what the people in the market, that's why you don't hear them screaming so much. And when everything's going crazy, the stock market's still going up to some degree. He's like, because they're not listening to Donald Trump. Everything he says, no, it's what's going on already. Everything's going well. Okay, the tariffs aren't in yet. Okay, cool. Let's keep it moving. They're not listening to him. They don't think what he's saying is true. He's just blowing smoke. And so when you think about the president of the United States, if the bond people, not the bond people, but the market people are thinking that, then the people who own our bonds, who are watching it, China, the most part, other countries own it, but China's number 2, Japan's number 1, they have to be having the same mindset. Don't pay attention to it. And then as they wait and wait and wait, if he starts to enact something, they'll drop that bond in a heartbeat. They'll start selling off, and the shit will go high. And it'll fuck with the dollar. They noticed that Donald Trump, the only time Donald Trump pulled away from this shit, like got back away completely, is when he saw the bonds were being fucked with. Then he knows, and he even mentioned it. He knows because that's the quality of our dollar. He even says it in one of these interviews. The quality of our dollar goes down if you fuck with that. And that's what he has to do. He has to leave that alone. So they're like, he ain't gonna do nothing, because if he did, just pay attention to what's gonna happen to him, because then the dollar will drop, so the bonds will drop, or actually it'll cost us more to buy because it'll go high. The interest will go high. Then it would be harder for us to borrow money, and that's what America does. We are a borrowing machine. We're running off of debt. We don't have profit, so to speak. We're running off of debt. Really weird, but it is really true. A lot of these countries put money into this country in the hopes that we'll pay it all back. All it has to do is say your credit is bad and stop loaning us money, or loan us money at a higher rate, and you can bankrupt us in many ways, because we're not going to be able to pay that shit off. Our kids will be paying these debts, and it'll still be too high for their kids to pay for it. And these people keep acting like they care about their kids. They don't. They don't give two shits about their children. Yeah, everybody's like, oh, we don't want our kids to pay. You don't care about your kids. If you did, you wouldn't be signing this big dumbass bill you just signed. You don't give a fuck about your children. No way in hell you could. You think that thing's gonna do something? Now, one of the things at the end, I got something for y'all that I thought about. I thought it was kind of funny, and I know many of us, even myself, I kind of gagged when I talked about I won't do that. But then I was like, it's kind of genius though. It's kind of genius, but it's a stretch. I'll tell you about it a little later. But it's about Donald Trump and his group, his MAGA people. But I'm almost done. I got one more thing to do prior to that. I always hear someone in MAGA, if not Donald Trump, always talking about the Green New Deal. And they call it the Green New Scam, right? And it's building on the New Deal or whatever it was back in the day from FDR, the New Deal of the 1930s, right? And that deal sought to tackle like two crises at once. This new one tackles the climate emergency and the growing economic inequality, right? And they called this bill, Donald Trump and his minions call it the Green New Scam. Now, I didn't dive into the Green New Deal. I wasn't a progressive. I'm just not finding out what progressives really are in depth, like the things. I'm more progressive than anything else. So I realized that it was done in 2019. This was AOC and another guy, Ed Markey. I remember Senator Ed Markey. The Green New Deal laid out goals more than policy. It wasn't necessarily detailed policy. It was mostly goals. And it called for like a 10-year national mobilization to like net zero greenhouse gas. So it's saving the earth, our world that we know of, transitioning to 100% clean, renewable energy, to create millions of high wage jobs, living wage jobs, y'all. High living wage, what they call it high wage. I say living wage, above living actually with high wages, especially in the clean energy and infrastructure. This thing right here was a part of what Obama was talking about in 2008 and shit. They did this in 2019. To invest in sustainable agriculture, public transportation, and energy efficiency, and energy efficient buildings. I'm like, what's wrong with this? Why is this so far left? It's ridiculous. It's like, take care of the people and the earth and all stuff like that. That's just too far out for you. It's really weird. To guarantee a just transition for workers and frontline communities harmed by environmental injustice or economic dislocation. So helping people. Again, like I say, when I talk about Republicans, always create bills that don't give a fuck about nobody. Just talk about how much money they can give you back. Give me some money. Here's some money. Here's some money. I'm about to destroy your community, but here's $500. You good with that? $500. Look, got $500. Got $500. And then they give you $500. And then they take your home, your house, your car, your wife, your kid, your dog, and you're like, but for $500, yeah, you said $500 you wanted. You'd be fine with it. Now I'm just taking your community away and building a factory because there's oil underneath it. Yeah, I told you I was going to do that. And that's what Americans do. Just, here, give me that 500. Give me that 5,000. Fine, great, wonderful. And then you lose every fucking thing. Be like, how did this happen? I didn't know it was going to happen. Maybe you should have read the fine print. So they always create things to give you a sense that you're getting something for it, but they know what is your trigger point. Money, 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 money. That's your trigger point. So let me give them some money real quick and don't tell them I'm about to steal everything they own. That's what Republicans always bring out. Hey, we're going to give you a tax cut. Give you a few thousand, a few $100 back. Oh, you're going to take my health care? What? You're going to take Medicare, Medi-Cal, and you're going to get rid of SNAP? I can't feed my family because I can work a full-time job. I'm just a working poor. So now I got to find 2 other jobs because I'm working like a full-time job. I do Uber. I got to find another job because I can. Oh, okay. But here's $500 though. But that $500 ain't going to do shit for you. And they get their constituents to believe that $500, that $5,000 is going to mean something. And they know once you take this money, you're making a bargain with the devil. They never have a plan to help you. They want to give you something. They think of their constituents, and it's so true, is they think of you guys easy, fast transactions. You're greedy, just like they are, but they do it when they got a smile on their face and hand you over $5,000, and in their head, I just made $500,000 giving them $5,000. Look how stupid they are. And then every time they get into office, here's that $5,000 again, and these people get so stupid. And no matter what race, because I saw this one black girl say, oh, when he comes in, I'm going to give me a stimmy check. I'm like, do you understand the stimmy was because of the pandemic, you dipshit? Do we have to have another pandemic for you to get money? Whew. That would mean another million people would have to die and the world would have to come to a complete halt so that you can get a check for $600 and you fine with that. See, this is how easy it is. It's how easy it is. It's so easy to get them to do anything. All right, then also part of this Green New Deal to ensure access to clean air, clean water, healthy food, and affordable housing for all. That was demonic to them. And I was like, these people literally say the Green New Scam, the Green New this, and they give you a name to call it. These people a name to call it. And it's just horrible. But it's so crazy that the majority of Republicans are on these programs. Meaning like these red states are on these programs the most. The red states are on it by the droves. They're 70% of certain things like Medicare, Medi-Cal, one of those is one of the two. They're 70% of it. I mean, come on, yo. How can you be 70% of this in these red states and vote for this idiot? That means 70% in the red states are going to lose. And you thought it was going to be black or brown or immigrants. Immigrants can't even get these things. That's what kills me. They got them believing that immigrants can get a part of a system that literally says immigrants cannot be a part of. It's crazy how grown-ass people need parents to teach them how to be adults. Read, learn, vote, pay attention, wake up. Grown-ass people need other grown-ass people like their parents to come back and snap their ass back into some kind of logic. It's like, it's ridiculous. You keep cutting off your own foot and expecting that bitch to grow back. No, you're footless at this point. It doesn't grow back. This dude is fucking up your lives and you're waiting until it fucks up. You know damn well there's going to be many of them because this bill, for the most part, the 11.8 million, it doesn't go into effect until after the midterms. You know they're going to be this stupid. They're not listening to anything but Fox. Fox ain't saying nothing about it. When Fox comes on after the midterms and the Democrats probably win, I hope they do, but probably win, it won't be no more than 24 hours after the Democrats come into office. That shit kick in, and it's going to probably take longer than that, but I'm just saying, if it was 24 hours after the Democrats were put in as a majority, these fools would be blaming Democrats for a bill that they sat there and championed. BBB, BBB. The BBB is the reason why you lost it. Nope. Democrats were leading it at the time. Did Democrats sign the bill? Remember the bill they said no to. Well, there's leadership now. They could change it. No, it's not that easy, bro. They're slow. They're just slow, and you can't tell them shit. You can't tell them nothing. You know, it's like that one badass child you got that you can't tell them nothing. They think they know everything. That's them. Even though you're like, your leg on fire. I don't feel it. I'm like, it's just your pants, but it's about to get to your leg. Ain't happening. Just look down. Don't smell no burning. I'm like, okay. All right. Just know I'm going to eat. You're going to have to get to the hospital by yourself because you about to burn up. You down the street. I see them running behind you. The visuals is ridiculous, but it's like them. It really is. Running behind you on fire. I get it, but I'm not going to believe it. You're burning up, still acting like you don't believe it because you don't want that person to be right. So you rather be a crispy piece of bacon than to know the truth and put the fire out. It's them, y'all. You got to feed your cat now. I see you, rude. But that's what the Green New Deal's about. Just doing good by people. I was like, I thought they had something in there that was crazy. What's going on? And it wasn't law. It wasn't even policy. It was just a set of goals to lay out and then to develop a policy around each one of these goals. And of course, they were going to negotiate back and forth. It wasn't like the Dems just going to throw it in there and nobody was going to get a choice in the matter. These were just plans. Like these ideas, goals. They weren't actually how we're going to do them. And who wouldn't want to create millions of high-wage jobs? I think most of us want to get back to just having one gig and being able to take care of family and raise a family, right? Nobody wants to go to a situation where you can't, you got to work 17,000 jobs just so you can, live comfortably. Nobody wants that shit. But they made it so bad. So they termed it the Green New Scam, and people don't, nobody's fighting for the Green New Deal anymore. You don't hear anybody talking about it because they're so quick to call it a name and keep calling it over and over and over again, right? But I think they should still be looking for these things These things in agree, no deal. I just wanted you guys to know that that's what they're doing. And you see the strategy that the Republicans and MAGA, they will do. MAGA and Donald Trump, what do they do to the term woke, right? Woke, again, like I spoke about this, means, basically like watch your six, always look around because you never know what's going to happen. Be woke. Don't ever like walk in a neighborhood or whatever it may be and be, oh, you see too many white people? You better pay attention. Hit your head on a swivel. Ain't nobody coming around you. If you see something, you better get it out of there. Hightail it out of there. Don't be in certain areas that you don't know where you're at in the dark. You don't know what's going on, right? Things of that nature. Be careful. Like when it came out, if you're, a free man, black man walking down the street, don't be out there at night because you never know where the Klan's going to be at. They just show up and pop up every time. And you see big trees, don't get too close because these fools they had an inkling to be able to hang a person in a heartbeat. They drive past you, don't like you. Next thing you know, you're swinging strange fruit. It happens, and it used to happen. It still happens. Still happens. So one of the things I realized today, and I know some of y'all gonna gag when I say this because I did a little bit. I was researching and looking at what has happened over these past few years, and with Donald Trump, and you guys understand that MAGA, Make America Great Again, was not his original term. That term came back when Ronald Reagan was running for president. It might have went before that, but I know, as far as I know, is Ronald Reagan. He was running a racist campaign because Ronald Reagan was highly racist. If you don't know, go look up the video with him, audio rather, of him speaking to Nixon and called black people, they can barely walk in shoes, called us monkeys. And then even Nixon felt a little certain way about calling us monkeys, but he called somebody and told him that he was talking to, at the time, I think it was Governor Reagan. And he mentioned to somebody else, and he's joking about it. He called him this, that, and they started laughing and joking. So he was calling black people monkeys, and Nixon later regurgitated that, but didn't call the monkey part. Just said they was having a hard time wearing shoes or some shit like that. And they were cracking up and laughing. So he was a vehement racist, right? And they came up with that term, Make America Great Again, right? And they used the church to do so. It's kind of funny how they're trying to put the church back in the situation. They just passed a bill, whatever it was, or in a state. I don't know exactly how strong this is, but that the IRS says that they can talk about and support a person in the church without losing their tax status. Well, they had already been doing that. They should have lost their tax status already. But they said that because, again, they're using the same strategy as you understand the strategy that Reagan used to go to churches and get these people hooked. I don't know if you know this, but Ronald Reagan, alongside his sidekick, I forgot his name. He was friends with Trump too. I'll remember his name probably here in a minute. But they came up with the Southern strategy, right? So that was when they used to, again, most people don't understand how this stuff, this political world was. They used to easily get what they wanted by pushing it on black people. So in this conversation that this guy had with back in the day, he was can't remember his name right now, but he's a politician, like always organized politicians and stuff like that. He helped Reagan win. He had a little statement where he thought he was off mic. He said that, I'm off record, right? And they said, yeah, but the mic was still rolling. And he said, well, back in the day, and this is like in fucking 70s, 80s, when he's talking about close to 80s, whatever. He said, back in the days, we used to be able to say N-word, N-word, N-word. But then all of a sudden, we got a little better and stuff like that. So then we started saying other words that replaced the N-word. And we would say something like busing or whatever. And anything that we were basically trying to say the N-word, 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 it was something where black people were harmed mostly, and then white people were going to still get harmed because they was in the location or vicinity. But when you said it, you knew you were talking about poor black people and what you're going to do to black people. So they use other terms. Same thing was using woke. They're using the same strategy as the Southern strategy. Turn something that seems like it's benign and turn it into hating on people and say that it's them hating you type of thing, whatever. So that's what they did with the Southern strategy. No, Nixon was behind the Southern strategy, but it wasn't Nixon. It was his. It was Nixon and Reagan. It wasn't them. It was actually the guy who was behind him who brought these strategies to them. But "Make America Great Again" came from on I think on the Reagan campaign. Nixon had the same thing with the strategy. It was Nixon and then it was Reagan. They used the same guy. Donald Trump hung out with this guy too. I have to get his name real quick. I kind of remember a little bit. Let's see, Nixon or Reagan. Reagan used the churches and went out there, and it was because of this one guy who came up with the strategy. I'll tell you in a second. We'll get his name. But he had been in politics for a long time. He used it for more than one party. That's how Reagan kind of got in touch with him. But you'll look at the history of it wasn't it wasn't Goldwater. I'll get his name here in a minute. Somebody may have already said it. Let's see. Get the Southern strategy. You're talking about Barry Goldwater developed strategy that successfully contributed to the political realignment of white. Yeah, Barry Goldwater and him actually did. They may have came up with this strategy again with Nixon, but it's another guy's name. I won't get the video, but I'll try and find it for you. But you're right about Barry Goldwater was involved with it with Nixon. But I'm thinking about after, it must have been like just this guy explaining it, but he was a part of it. I don't know why I can't get his name. Oh, was it Lee Atwater? I think it was. Let me see. I want to say it was Lee Atwater. Maybe. Yeah, it was Lee Atwater. He is the one who did it with Reagan and Bush. They used the Southern strategy. He may not have, but you can find the video. Lee Atwater and Reagan. You go back and see the slate. They use the Southern strategy. It says right here, Atwater controversy through his aggressive campaign, especially. Oh yeah, he used the Southern strategy. Now that strategy may have been passed on to him. I don't know if he worked with Barry Goldwater or not, but it was Lee Atwater, and his real name was Harvey Leroy Atwater. All right, go back and check that out. But anyway, what that was about was, thank you for letting me go back and look that up. But Lee Atwater, he's one who's on the microphone saying this, explaining this whole thing about how you used to say N-word, 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 and then after that, you could change it up and you start using like busing and you start using other terms, and those terms actually gave weight for you to be able to continually say N-word, 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 and that the people knew, white people knew who were racist, is that when they mentioned these terms, that's what it meant. Just like the term woke. In the group of racist white men, white nationalists, they know woke was a term that they were saying the N-word. Everybody else was all up in this strategy or the strategic process of getting other people to say that term and not know they're saying the N-word, while everybody else is saying it and meaning the N-word. Now you got people who aren't racist saying racist shit, and you got racist people saying racist shit, and you both think you're saying the same thing. And they won't tell you that anything different. They're not going to tell you that's not racist. They're just going to say, yeah, I don't believe in the woke either. And you're like, I don't believe in woke, but even though you got two different understandings of what woke is. So Strom Thurmond was behind it too. They go back, man. It may not have been, if you look it back up, it may have been more people involved in it at the beginning of it. I don't know if he created the Southern strategy, but I know he used it. And I don't know, he probably like improved upon it, because what he did was take it to the churches. He ended up, it was Lee Atwater, it was Ronald Reagan. I think Nixon was a part of some part of it too at one point. But George Herbert Walker Bush as well. They used this strategy, and the way Lee Atwater did it was that he went to a televangelist, and that televangelist, he walked up to him and he said, "Look, you want to be one of the biggest televangelists ever? You're the biggest Christian televangelist in the world, right? Do you want to be that?" And he was going out trying to get televangelists to do his dirt, but his job was to get the congregation to believe whatever Lee Atwater told him to believe. So Lee Atwater would feed this pastor, who became a huge televangelist. He fed him this information of what to say to his congregation, and he would mix it up with words of the Bible to get people to believe what he was talking about. So much so that what you had to do to become a Christian in his church is that you had to vote Republican, and you had to vote for Reagan. So when you came to his church and you were like, I'm a devout Christian now, or I want to convert, or whatever the hell you want to do, I found Jesus, right? He would say, okay, and in the process of joining his church was a pamphlet about being a Republican, and you had to be one to become a part of his congregation. And not only that, you had to vote for Reagan. That's what was the whole problem. That's how they used the Southern strategy, the Lee Atwater way, with Ronald Reagan to get him to be a president. Make America Great Again was on the pamphlet. And there's a documentary out where this young lady, she was young at the time, she was too young to vote, but at this point she was in it. She's older. This is recent. I saw this about a good year or two ago, maybe. Maybe last year, if I don't know. Time kind of flies. But a young black lady joined this church, and she was told she had to become a Republican. She was too young to vote. But she got this pamphlet that said, and they got a copy of the pamphlet too, she had in the documentary. But yeah, they were building their own little cult of Republicans through this televangelist. And let's see, who did he use that? I want televangelist. Love how y'all just in here just let's see. Trying to remember the pastor that he used, the TV pastor. And he became a huge TV star. I think he did it for George Herbert Walker Bush too. And the strategy worked both times. And it's crazy how he passed away. Had a brain tumor. There's a documentary all about this stuff. But I gotta find out his name, because he was a big televangelist too. I'll probably have to come back and get it. Billy Graham, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember the name, but it might have been Billy Graham. But it was a big televangelist. I don't want to say that person's name because I may get it wrong, but I'll have to get the name of the documentary and put it in the comments or something like that. But yeah, I gotta go check it out and find out what's that. You guys need to watch it. It's probably it's less than 2 hours, I think, 2 hours long. But within it, you'll see the black lady who was too young to vote, that they told her that she had to become a Republican and she wasn't even able to vote yet, to become a Christian. All that strategy that they used to get people to believe what they were talking about. Was it Pat Robertson? That sounds better. See, televangelist Pat Robertson. Lee Atwater, Pat Robertson. I think you might be right about that. I think you might be right about that. That sounds like the name. Pat Robertson, and I'm gonna say Lee Atwater, Pat Robertson. But yeah, I'm not joking with you. This is it was crazy how they used religion. Now here's the thing. There's nothing really new under the sun with these people. The exact strategy that they use, they call the Southern strategy, right? The exact strategy they use to get like a group of people to believe something outside of what their normal belief was prior, to make it shift just by using the church. That right there was the same strategy that they used, that the first Europeans used here to enslave the African. Go back and look into history. That's why I tell people history repeats itself if you don't know it. Donald Trump is doing the exact same shit that Barry Goldwater did back then. Same shit, the strategy that Lee Atwater did. And all of them did the same strategy. That whole thing is the same thing back when we were here in the New World. And the first Africans, people don't realize, came over here, were indentured servants. They were prisoners of war from other countries that were basically brought here or bought and said, okay, you can have land and be free in this new world. And lights kind of flashing. And in the new world. And so when they got here, everybody loved them. Again, you look up the Europeans at the time thought that the African who the first Africans that came here were the most civilized culture they ever brought to the new world. Now, understand they had brought the Irish here and other cultures here, but the natives is already here as well. But they said it was the most civilized. That was their words. Not that you can trust what they're talking about, but that's what they said back then. So they didn't have a problem with us. Everybody got along. It wasn't about race because they hadn't even developed race yet. It was all about just you from Africa, you from Italy, or whatever heck is you from Europe. And so they got along. It wasn't until the Irish ran away, got away from this indentured servitude, didn't like it, told the other countries this is not a great thing. We were sold a bill of goods, and I don't want to do it no more, and I don't want to go back. And so the other countries decided we're not going to allow our people to go get torture, whatever it is over there. You told us it was just help you build and they can get some land. I mean, of course, anybody would do that. That's like the gold rush. Give me a piece of land and I can build. I get gold. I got my home, all the things of that nature. Buy me a plot. That's the type of shit they thought was going to go down, but it didn't. Something totally different went down. And so because of that, these other countries said, no, you can't have my people. And so they had to make a culture here a permanent enslaved culture. And the African was not the first choice. Again, the Irish were. But in that whole process, how did you think they took the people that everybody was loving? They loved the Africans. They taught them how to build certain things and bathe and different other kind of things they taught them how to do because they were just that advanced in this situation. And that was history, and not me saying that. That's just what history says. And so when it came to like indentured servitude, going into permanent enslavement, they brought together the European people, brought their greatest minds, they say, brought their greatest minds to figure out how they can make an indentured, one of these indentured groups into a permanent slave. And they went after the Irish first. Thought the Irish, they got away before. If they got away, we'd have an all-out war. If they escaped and got away, we'd have a war. So then it's like, okay, can't do that. Then when you think about the natives, they're here. They know this land better than we do. They escape. It'd take us forever to find them. The African, again, this situation is that they were so far away from their home and none of them had ever escaped to get back to Africa to tell Africa what it was really like as opposed to what they thought it was going to be like. So the African was the last choice. And so therefore that's how it became. But how do you get people who love these people the day before, the month before, the week before, to turn on them? The exact same thing that Donald Trump is doing. He got people to hate the immigrants. Start turning on them and saying, look, this has happened. Well, everybody here was an immigrant. Nobody was originally from here except for the indigenous. And they weren't trying to make the indigenous powerful in this country. So what do? They started saying, well, we decided on this. Our great brains came together and said it's going to be the African. So where do the Africans not go? Well, their religion was not the same as this bastardized religion that America had of another culture's religion. So they went to their churches and African people did their own thing. Wasn't the same. So that was the place where the Africans did not go. So while they were just chilling out, doing whatever they did, religious-wise, the other cultures were going to this church. And I'm pretty sure the natives and indigenous had their own thing going too. But these places were all these people whom they hadn't considered to be white yet, but the others. They went to church, and in church, that's where they indoctrinated them and said that the African was savage. That in order to get the savage out of them, they had to enslave them to save them. That's what they said in their church over and over and over. Now, I always tell people, put yourself in their position. The African. Put yourself in their position. Don't think about, I'm white, I'm Latin, I'm Asian, whatever. No, put yourself in the enslaved people or the Africans' position before they were enslaved. They were at their home while these other cultures were mostly, and they weren't called white back then, just other cultures were in church listening to the preachings of the Bible, and you got guys that loved you. I try to do a visual, say, you know what? Say my name was, I'm going to give an American name because I'm not trying to be all, African, whatever. Just say my name is John. All right? I'm from Africa. John is helping out, Bob, who's whatever race other than, right? European. Let's just say European. So Bob's over there. John, the African, sitting over here with him and his family chilling. Bob and John were cool. But then you start to notice every time they come for church, Bob and John don't want to come over for dinner anymore. Wonder what that is. Every time I come outside and use the latrine and I see Bob and I wave it, I see Bob and I'm like, hey, Bob, what's going on? Bob never even looks at me anymore. Like, did I piss off Bob? Then I go over to Bob's house and they don't answer the door. Hun, did something happen to Bob? Right? And then you sleep one night, chilling, and you see a fire outside. Oh, it's a fire. Let's go and help them put out their fire, because that's what neighbors do. And the fire wasn't to help nobody. It was coming to enslave him and his family. Oh, before they raped him, they had to do that first. Rape him and beat him, and then decided we're going to throw him in a cage. And he's like, what the fuck? What's going on, Bob? What's happening? What's happening, Bob? What'd I do? Why is this happening? Why are you on top of my wife? Do you understand that perspective? Bob was cool with you. Bob was always asking you to help him with his yard and coming over and helping out. Then one day John wakes up, and Bob ain't the same person. Now you look at this dude, he's going to die imprisoned for something he don't know what the fuck happened. And generations of his family are going to go through that same shit for no fucking reason. The dude that you said was already brighter than you at the very beginning, all of a sudden, you're going to treat that person so bad and his people so bad that you're going to not only say they were the most civilized, now they're idiots. Now they're dumb. They can't do this. They can't do that. for hundreds of years, generations. Generations of this. Now you should be able to feel it and see it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes you learn it, but you don't really put yourself in the position of the person. It's as if your next door neighbor, who is the opposite race of you, that you done sent and gave him pies, and he done sent you over here and fixed your car or whatever, and had no problem, and gave you information, and picked up your kid from school when you couldn't get him from school, so your kid didn't sit there in school all by himself. That wonderful person, blah, blah, blah. Then he comes over then one day and just says, you know what? That tree looking mighty good. I'm like, yeah, it's got pears in it. No, I'm talking about if you were hanging in it. Say what? It looks good if I was hanging in it. What are you talking about? Now you can feel it. And this is what they want to go back to. And don't think that they're evil. Like, come on, man. It's one thing to learn the history. I want you to put yourself in that position so that you know that that history would hurt. Because sometimes we think of it in a different person. Like, oh, that's a sad story for him and for them. I would not want to be in that situation. No, no, no. Put yourself in said situation. Then you can feel it more. How would you like it if your next door neighbor who you like harmed you? And then after you do all that, let's not even say it's hundreds of years later. Let's just say it's 5 years later and they decide to stop. And then Bob, I mean, that person's coming over. You done been raped, beaten. Your kid's been hung out in the front yard and all stuff like that. Then Bob comes back and be like, well, you know, Bob's son be like, I didn't do that. Dad did that. You were there while it was happening. I know, but Dad did it. We can hug it out. The fuck I'm hugging it out for? You feel me? It's more painful and more harsh when you can put yourself in that position. And it doesn't have to be black or white. Just think of somebody you care for, liked, did that to you. And then belittled you for it. And then told you, it's over now. Why are you worried about it? Most people can't forget the 4th of July when they grew up. Oh, so I remember so many. Can't forget their birthdays. They can't. But you want people to forget the most horrific times in their lives, in their families' lives, the stories that have been told to them, the books that they've read. Forget that. That's like me asking you to forget your mom or forget your brother or forget your sister. They're already dead. Why are you worried about it? Why are you thinking about them again? It's because I remember them. I had stories about them. No, forget that. Erase it. You can't do it. So why are you asking people of color to do it? Why are you asking women who get raped do it or get beaten do it? Why are you asking them to forget something that they can't forget? They ain't gonna never forget. They got to go through therapy for that. And in this situation, nobody's gone through therapy for it. Can't get over something until you go through it. You got a group of people that don't want to hear it. You got another group of people that want to hear it but don't want to get therapy for it. So we have to talk these things through. It ain't about blaming nobody. It's about getting over it. And I don't know anybody who's gotten over an addiction to something or an ailment or a pain just saying it's going to get over. Just going to disappear on its own. It doesn't do that. You either got to talk it through, hug it out, love it out, something. You can't just forget it. And that's what this country wants people of color to believe, that they can just forget it. They want other cultures who've been through things, whether it be Asian people here, Chinese people, forget it. Latin people, oh, forget it. Look what we're doing to Latin people, to immigrants. And think about it. They went to churches to demonize these immigrants, just like they went to churches to enslave the African. It is the same shit. And these people can't see that you're going down the path of history. You're enslaving Latin people. And I told Latin people this is what they were going to do to you before you voted for Donald Trump. I said those exact words. I said the next slave in America is going to be of Latin descent. They're going to throw you guys in cages. I said this shit way before Donald Trump did it because I listened to what he said. And I paid attention to what they did before. They threw the wives in prison with their babies and their husbands, and they split them up. Anybody that can take somebody's baby and throw them away from the parent is a demonic fuck. And you can't tell me anything otherwise. That's evil. You see a baby's attached to their parents, and you're so mad that they came to this country that you just threw their baby away? Remember they used to do that to black women's babies? They were so bad about it, they didn't even wait till the wife gave birth to the baby. They would cut the wife open, hang her, and throw her baby to an alligator. This is shit they used to do. This is not some fucking urban story oh, it's a fairy tale. No, it's real. That's how hateful, racist white people have been in this country. And for us to act like that ain't today, it is today. These are the exact same people. These are the ancestors of those exact same people. If they can throw Latin people into a prison that never broke a law, what the fuck you think that was? They went and grabbed African people who were their best friends who helped them the day before because their church told them it was okay and they had absolved them of being evil like Jesus is in the church. He is not. He's supposed to be inside of each one of us. Not one person has a patent on this Jesus or God. But for some reason, these white racist fucks think they have a patent. So much so they turn a brown man, which is Jesus, into a white man. And thinks it's okay. It's insane, y'all. We have to wake up and learn this stuff. We have to wake up and learn this stuff. And it ain't to make anybody feel bad. It's just that it's repeating itself. And the reason why it's repeating itself is because people aren't doing anything about it. They ain't listening to it. They ain't letting it become a part of their spirit to realize, ooh, my ancestors were horrible. Maybe we should start anew. Maybe we should look at the past and say, let's not go down that path anymore. Learn from it. Maybe we should start healing from it. Right? It's only fair that we do that. But here's the thing. None of these people gives a fuck about life being fair to anybody but to white men. They're the only ones that want something to be fair. And they're willing to kill for it. Everybody else is willing to work for it. They're willing to kill for it, which makes them the most dangerous human being on the planet Earth. They're willing to kill you just so that they can have a better life. You ain't got nothing to do nothing to them. You're just too good that they can't compete, so they just wipe you out. That's the reason why. That's why they're the most dangerous culture on the planet. That is happening in droves. There are so many white hate groups that have come out in the past 6 years. It's insane. And the part that's fucked up is you can't tell them from the good white people until you hear them open their mouths. But at that point, often it's too late. If they're going to try and do you harm, it's too late. Because you give them the benefit of the doubt. So what do? We have to figure something out. We know the good people that we know in our lives, but we have to start exposing the bad. We can't just let them blend in. When you see one, you know one, tell somebody else. Teach somebody else about who's racist, so therefore they can be cast out. Record them, show them, let us know. I don't care who it is. Because if you don't put them out on Front Street, they look just like you. And if they look just like you, how do we know the difference? We don't. Now, we can talk to each other and get to know each other a lot better than in our comments and stuff like that. And that's wonderful. And I'm not saying anything about us. I'm just saying those out there, we all have to be a part of it. I'm not just putting this on white people. If I know anybody who's white and says some racist shit, I'm going to put them on blast. Why? Because I want my brothers and sisters, just like woke is all about, I want you to know this dude. I want you to see his face. Tizzy does an awesome job of it. You get to see these racist face. You know not to hang out with them. Those are the things we need to do. Put them on Front Street so they can deal with their issue. You shouldn't hire them. I don't care if they were the best. If they make glass for you, is the best glass maker on the planet. You find out he's racist, let him eat his glass. Don't hire him for shit. Don't hire her for shit. Let them live off their hatred. See how much it feeds them. But we too often just let them blend in. That's a problem. But anyway, that going down that path, the reason why I brought this up, and I only got one more thing to say about this. The reason why I brought this up is the necessary conversation. Oh, okay. Thank you, Rude. I got to write that down. The necessary conversation. Sounds good. And I think we do need to have all these conversations, not because we're pointing fingers at nobody. Just get it all out so that you can have, okay, what do we feel about that? What can we do about that? How can we change things? How can we make things better and make it a better world? And it's very simple. Listening to each other, not ignoring or saying whatever. You know what I'm saying? Listen, because everybody's got issues that they're dealing with. And if you get to know those issues, I'm sure, you know, each group of people, whether it be class, whether it be sex, whether it be, you know, race or whatever it may be, each group of people just want to be heard. And you don't have to agree, but you can agree to disagree, but you can agree that people have their lives and they can live it or whatever. But just being able, I know it's not going to always be a kumbaya moment, but again, being able to help each other in certain areas where there's some leeway, that's good. But if we don't know what each other wants, we're fighting over shit for no reason, just fighting for no reason. But I'm gonna go ahead and check that podcast out. Thank you about that, Rude and Player Janet. But one last thing I want to tell you, the reason why I told you this and I went on a tangent about the racism and all that stuff like that is because it started out because I was talking about woke and how it was colonized. And I realized something, ladies and gentlemen, and I know this is speaking mostly to my brothers and sisters who are black for the reason of woke, and it's for everybody. I'm just saying specifically because woke was used as a black term, and these racists decided to take it. If you were raised around black people, you know, in your different race, that's fine. But the point of the matter is we know that was the case. And that became an effective way to kind of like try to destroy our term. And I told you I'm not going to let them destroy it. I'm going to still say woke for what it really means. Fuck them. But they can't stand it. They want to always say woke, this, and the third. So I was thinking, I said, you know what? And I know y'all going to gag on this, but I've never been like them. You feel me? I've never been somebody who thought about doing the same thing that racist people do. And I ain't talking about being racist. I'm talking about colonization. I've never thought of being a colonizer. And then I started thinking, they colonized the term woke. They stole it and made it so that people were saying it, not knowing they're saying the N-word, and they got the whole world saying the N-word and all stuff like that, thinking that they're talking about that. But I was thinking, what if we colonized the term MAGA? Hear me out. I know I kind of had a little throw up too when I said it. What if we colonized the term MAGA? Make it mean something else and flood their timelines with it. See, their information is brought to them by that MAGA term, right? Everything MAGA, it comes to them. You put MAGA in your situation, you're going to get a bunch of MAGA. You're going to reach a bunch of MAGA. But if we colonize the term MAGA, made it mean something else, made it look the exact same, and totally sent them like stuff from the Green New Deal, everything that whenever they see MAGA, all they see is liberal stuff. That shit would be funny as fuck. Or they would hate us. But I've never been a colonizer, and I say, you know what? I just might colonize MAGA. I just might colonize MAGA. I might start putting out a bunch of MAGA shit, but I'm going to call it something else, like Make America Green Again. They would fucking hate that. They would hate Make America Green Again. Holy shit. I mean, literally put it out there on everything and have everybody sending it out. And every time you put out something positive about something, just put that in there. Put that green in there. That would be comical. Hey, what's up? I see you out there. I myself, I say, you know what? But it does. It's like, I can't stand MAGA. But that's the part. They couldn't stand us, so they stole our woke. You know they couldn't stand that word woke because it was black. They probably wanted to throw up. I can't stand MAGA the same way. But I don't have a problem destroying what MAGA stands for. And I think there's more of us than there's actually of them that want great things to happen. Like we want things to work better for us and add on to like the Green New Deal type of thing. I don't care whether it's Green New Deal or not. I'm not stuck with that. I'm just saying is if we made a term where we're actually doing right by people and we call it MAGA, these fools would flip out. They'd be so hateful. They wouldn't know what to do with themselves. Some of them might explode on the spot. But yeah, I thought about that. So I think we need to colonize that term because I know how much we hate it. But we need to destroy it. We need to destroy it. And that's how I think we should do it. Make accountability great again. There, fixed it. Thank you, Bamboozle. Make accountability great again. That sounds great to me because then we're accountable for everybody. But whatever term, make accountability great again. That to me, take care, Swift. Have a good one. We have got to do something to destroy that term and the people with it so that if we put it out there, they're going to have to find something else. They got to find something else. If they had the hate and disgust for us to take woke, every time they come out with a term, we need to come out with that same term and destroy it. We need to make it go viral every time we have it, put it out there, whoever's video it is, that if we're talking about good stuff for America, whether it's being green, whether it's being responsible for people, I like the accountability part better than anything. I might write that down. Make accountability great again. Make accountability great again. The rich versus the rest of us. Yeah. And the thing is, it should destroy everything they freaking stand for. At least the Trump aspect of it. At least the Trump aspect of it. Like how Bamboozle said, fixed it. Love that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, but that's the last thing I want to give y'all is, we have to, I was thinking like myself, it's the top of my head today. I said, we need to colonize that term and get people saying that. And therefore, if it means something different, it takes the sting out of what they say it means. Make America great again. Nobody thinking about that. We're thinking about making accountability great again. Whatever it may be, I'm trying to figure it out. And that to me right now sounds good, but I'll think about it later this week. But I really do want to try and destroy that term for them. And they're simple. So we probably won't have to do that much to do it. Let me see here. Oh, before I go, one other thing that's racist as hell was JD Vance. Did you guys hear JD Vance today? Let's see if I got the right video for it. Yeah. Well, I think it was today. He was talking about, it may have been a couple of days, but will it fit on merch? I doubt it, but MAGA will. You don't want to have the words MAGA. You can still have MAGA and it means something totally different. But you're right, Bamboozle. It's kind of long. But I'll look at it and see. But JD Vance was trying to redefine citizenship, y'all. I'm telling you, the racism is strong, and this is how slavery started, y'all. They're trying to make Latin people slaves because at first they were sending them to other countries. Now, slavery was ended, but not really. 13th Amendment says that if you break law, whatever, you can be. That's what jails and prisons were created for, to put people to work for free and enslave them, make them criminals. Before they weren't criminals, they were enslaved. Then they made it so that once they got out, they didn't have property. They started creating laws so they could imprison them, which is the same thing as enslaving them, because they would work for pennies. And they end up working back on those same farms or whatever it was for pennies on the dollar. And sometimes free because they were prisoners. So they're doing the same to these Latin people. They've been in prison in El Salvador for a long time now. Well over a few hundred days, right? 100 and something at least. And what do you think they're doing? They're making that country money. They're doing some kind of work. They ain't just sitting in a cell. They're enslaved people right now. And there's no reason for them to be enslaved. There is no law that they've broken that should put them in jail. Being an immigrant here illegally is a misdemeanor. It is a ticket and get your ass up out of here. It is not prison time. They've turned them into prisoners, which is slavery. And then you got J.D. Vance trying to redefine the term of what a citizen is. Good night,
I think
Alex.
the people whose ancestors fought in the Civil War have a hell of a lot more claim over America than the people who say they don't belong. Identifying America just with agreeing with the principles, let's say, of the Declaration of Independence, that's a definition that is way over-inclusive and under-inclusive at the same time. What do I mean by that? Well, first of all, it would include hundreds of millions, maybe billions of foreign citizens who agree with the principles of the Declaration of Independence. Must we admit all of them tomorrow?
Must we admit all of them tomorrow? You understand that this man is speaking to a group of white people, trying to tell them that a lot of people are going to invade their country, and he believes that because the white people, he believes, that fought in the Civil War, they deserve citizenship. He does know other races fought in the war. He may or may not, I'm not sure, but he should. And he's making it seem as though only white people deserve to be in America. It was indigenous before you. Right? Native and indigenous was here before you. So what if they said anybody who was here before the Europeans came here are only citizenship worthy, and they determine whether you could stay or not? Oh, you don't want to talk about that. I get you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to put that out there, get you to think about it. It's racism at its worst. And I ain't gonna say worse, it's been worse than this, but it's racism just rebuilding itself back up into like enslaving people. We are already enslaving human beings again. Don't think of jail as jail. Jail is enslavement. For people who have not committed a crime, it is enslavement. And during Jim Crow, they put us back enslaved. They enslaved us again by creating laws that we would normally not be something that we break. A vagrancy law. They knew that we didn't have homes because they kicked us off the plantation with no money and the clothes on our back. We had to go find work somehow, some way. And because we was in that midst of trying to find a way with a family, if you was on the road sleeping under a tree, you were illegal and therefore put back in enslavement. That's what they're doing to these people, putting them in enslavement camps with no justification or reason to get out. They have no recourse. They can't get out of it. And that's exactly what enslavement was. So much so, Donald Trump even said, this is one of the terms he said, that the farmers would be able, because he was trying to relieve some of this where farmers were losing some of their workers' property, because he's thinking about the person making the money and not the people who are on the farm. The people making the money, the farmers, well, I'm going to let them decide, slave owners, but farmers, they want to say, whom they want to keep. They know who aren't the criminals. They ain't going to put no criminals on their property. They know the good stock of Latin people. And America's just sell them off to the farmer so that they work for the farmer. You think they're going to pay them good wages? Can they unionize? You want them to stay there. You're enslaving them instead of letting them be able to work. So now the government's allowing them. Trump said he wanted to do it. They haven't done it yet. Allow them to work as long as a farmer can go out there and pick which one of these bucks. Oh yeah, you strong, and you strong, and you strong, and you strong. I want them picking their own workforce like they picked slaves back in the day, looking at how strong they were and how much cotton they could pick. You don't see it, you should see it. And for anybody that's continually saying this is okay, fuck you. Okay? That's enslavement. And they're trying to revise it and say it's just immigrants. No. You want them out of the country? Do it legally. After all this crap that Donald Trump and his people have done, President Obama dwarfed how many people he's actually sent out of this country. He did it humanely. Donald Trump is doing it inhumanely. He didn't throw them in jail for perpetuity and no ways to get out. They went through the legal system and then they were escorted out. Every time Donald Trump does something, it's evil. It's never a situation of, I understand you're coming here for this reason. Let's try and figure out the legal way for you to get here. None of that. Fuck you. You're not American. We're going to redefine what the hell American is, and therefore we can get some of you guys who are homegrown out of our country because we wanted it to be all white nationalists. If you don't see it, you need to start seeing it. Don't wait until they knock on your door and pull you out and rape your wife and children. Before that actually happens to you, you might want to stop it. You might want to call your representatives. You might want to remind people what this is as opposed to what they're saying it is. Because it ain't got shit to do with us being safe from, Latin people who are out here pillaging and killing people. Last I checked, I haven't had a problem with a Latin person or immigrant in my lifetime. But I had a shit ton of problems with racist white people. I've had a shit ton of problems with racist white men. And in this country right now, in California, racist white men are on the street in full-on tactical gear for no fucking apparent reason other than to scare the fuck out of children. In Leimert Park, ain't nothing but black and Latin children with a speckle of white. You in a black neighborhood, people of color showing out like that with horses, like back in the day, the slave people who came, they used to do that all the time back in the day. That's what the slave capturers would do. They would go out and just hang out, and they see a black person, they could lynch you if they wanted to. The same shit they did, and they pulled in Leimert Park, mostly black and Latin people. You didn't see them do that in Beverly Hills Park, did you? And they got a lot of them working over there, Latin people working over there for those rich people for a little bit of nothing, taking care of their babies. I guarantee you probably find more Latin people in Beverly Hills and other places that are immigrants because they're working for these racist fucks who are rich. I bet you find more over there. But do you see the police officers and the horses and the military shit hanging out in the rich white neighborhoods? No. Ask yourself why. Because you're going to find more illegal people over there because the rich people got them working for them as maids. Point blank period. But that's okay. People learn. They lying to you now. You next. If you Italian, you ain't really what they talking about as white. If you Irish, you ain't white as they want to be. As soon as they get them, they coming after you. They're going to declassify what white is too. You understand that white was made up. There's no such term. They will reclassify white and say white nationalists, and white people aren't involved. Well, you may call yourself white, but you ain't a white nationalist. You out of here. Don't wait till the door is open or knocked on for you next. Just because you think that you're protected. You're not really protected. If you don't know your history, it will repeat. They used to beat the shit out of Irish people. They didn't like them. They used to think of them as black people. They called them basically the N-word, the Irish N-word. So don't think you protected because you Irish or Italian. That shit ain't, no, it's not. Pay attention. Just because they haven't come for you yet, you don't say nothing now. When they come for you, don't expect people who've been through it already and survived to be there for you. It's a we thing, and if not, you buy yourself. Yeah. Also, I see you, Bamboozle. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got to get out of here. I got another show for mental health coming up here pretty soon on my TikTok show. So that'll be as soon as probably at 8 o'clock. I got 5 minutes. Always a pleasure. Please, thank you guys for educating me on certain things I didn't remember. It was Barry Goldwater. Always love that Iron Sharpen Iron. Go out, try and get that documentary that if you guys want to watch it, that discusses what I was talking about. But yeah, and I'll look more up what you was talking about. Thank you, Nina, for the donation. I appreciate you. Anybody see who else? She was one tonight. Appreciate you. Anybody else want to donate to the show? You know how to do it. As always, I put it up here how people can support the show. And we'll be back here tomorrow around 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. Sometimes a little late because of either traffic or whatever's going on. But much love to y'all. $58 million for wedding. How many people could that feed? Come on, Rude. They don't care about us. They don't care about us. Not at all. It ain't nothing about love and care. It is really about Bamboo said TikTok, I'm grown. I'm grown too. I do a lot of grown stuff over there. Same thing I do over here pretty much. Some things I can say on there that I can't say here and vice versa. Well, you guys have a great evening. I'm going to get over there and deal with mental health. Always, got to do that. Keep my mind right so I can stay strong and continue doing what I do. Until tomorrow, you know how it goes. Much love to y'all. I see you when I see you.